We're finally seeing something we haven't seen the entire chapter. Do you know what it is? It's an equal sign. Equations have equal signs. We have not seen an equal sign. We have been simplifying expressions. If you flip back through your notes, expressions, multiplying and dividing expressions, adding and subtracting expressions, complex rational expressions. Now we're doing equations. So in equations, we have an equal sign. We're still going to find our LCD, good old-fashioned LCD. But now what we're going to do with the LCD is we're going to multiply each side of the equation by the LCD, in this case 6. Or you may remember it more as multiply each term by the LCD. And when you multiply each term by the LCD, the fractions are just going to disappear. 1/2 of 6 is 3, 1/3 of 6 is 2, and x over 6 is x. And we can just solve from there, and we get x equals 5. I'm going to add something to the solve, though. I'm going to add solve and check, and then I'll explain that a little bit later with some of the harder ones. When the denominator is just numbers, we don't have to worry so much about the checks. 6 goes into 3 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4y. 6 goes into 6 one time, and then when I distribute the negative, minus y minus 3, and then this is 12. Remember, you have to be fair to everybody, right? You have to multiply each term, and then you get 5. You could plug that back in and make sure it works, always a nice safety check. But if the denominator is a number and you're confident in your math abilities, you should be good to go. 3 goes into 12 4 times 8x plus 4. Don't forget to distribute. Remember, that's a negative 3, so negative 3x plus 12 equals 6, right? 5x plus 16 equals 6. So these are nice because they turn out to be linear equations, and we can just solve them. Where it starts to get a little bit more difficult, maybe, is when you have rational expressions or just expressions in the denominator. Then we start to have what we call excluded values. These are values. Excluded values are values that are not allowed for the variable because they would make the denominator 0. So here I would have 2 excluded values. M is not allowed to be 1, and M is not allowed to be negative 1. So I just kind of keep that in mind as I do the problem. I'm going to multiply each term by my LCD. M plus 1, M minus 1, M plus 1, M minus 1, M plus 1, M minus 1. Then I can start the fun canceling, right? 10. Here the M minus 1's cancel. That's going to be a FOIL. So it's going to be what? 2M squared. I'm doing it in my head. Minus 7M plus 5. And then here the M plus 1's cancel. So this is going to be 2M squared plus 3M minus 5. Thankfully, the 2M squareds cancel, so I'm thinking it's negative 7M plus 15 over here, and then 3M minus 5 over here, so negative 10M is negative 20, M is 2. And I'm good. It didn't turn out to be one of my excluded values, so I'm fine. If it had, then those wouldn't be counted in the official answer. Number 5, I see right away, this can be factored, x plus 4, x minus 4. That's my LCD, x plus 4, x minus 4, x plus 4, x minus 4, x plus 4, x minus 4. Then I get the fun canceling here is 12. That's minus 24, so minus 24x is at minus 96. And then this is going to be 3 times x squared minus 16, or 3x squared minus 48. So now it is quadratic, right? So I'm going to have to clean things up a little bit. I'm going to see if I can do a little of this in my head. 3x squared, I move the 24x over. 12, what's that? Negative 84, so 12, negative 132. Doing too much in my head. Negative 96 and 12 is negative 84. And then I'm going to add that, so it's 84 minus 48 is 36. Yeah. 36. Then I divided everything by 3, making my life and my equation a lot easier. And then here I have x minus sorry, I made a mistake. This should have been plus 36, right? Plus 36, right? That would have been plus 12. So now I have x plus 6 and x plus 2. So I'm going to get two answers, -6 and -2. And both of those are good to go. I should have pointed out earlier the excluded values on this one. What would the excluded values have been? X is not allowed to be, right, 4 or -4. So since neither of those were 4 or -4, I'm good to go. Last one here is a quadratic. It's going to end up being an inequality. I got to multiply everything by 12. I'm going to get 2t squared. That cancels and gives me 3, so when I distribute it, 3t minus 6. That cancels and gives me 4, 4t plus 4. Right, when I clean it up, I'm going to get 2t squared minus t minus 10. Do you remember how to do these quadratic inequalities? Right, remember how we just factor? And then we get two values here. The values are 5/2 and -2, but we put them on the number line, right? Open circle or closed circle? It's like 5/2 closed circle, right? And then if it's less than or equal to, you might remember that it's in between, or you could test a 0. You could test that 0 anywhere you want. You could test it in the factored version, this version, this version. Either way, it's going to work. And so the values that work are in between -2 and 5/2. So that one's obviously our harder one, but there is a quadratic inequality that's on the test. So there we have it, solving rational equations.